I took American Sign Language both years of high school.
Oh my goodness, what is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children and adults of all ages? Welcome to the show with the most, the weekly wrestling heat roundup. Proud to bring to you me, your host for this evening's of events, Matt. We have a lot to cover. Chris Jericho, La Champion. You're not even shown. Somebody tell him he's not even being shown right now. Okay, now he's being shown. So, my name is Matt. We have a lot to cover this week of the fallout of Royal Rumble. We're mainly going to be talking about Royal Rumble in today's episode. So let's not waste any more time, and let's go ahead and start introducing our co-host. With me is joined with this band of wrestling misfits. Joined onto my side is the one, the only Elias. Elias, how are you doing, my friend?
Dang, I'm good, man.
Ooh, Cactus Jack, pulling out the old school guns.
See, I do go past 2005.
we appreciate it when you do. We appreciate it when you do. Feel free at any time to talk old school wrestling. And then also joined with me this week on our merry go round with the AEW loving, always the most guy that's going to get the undercard classman over the top. Angel, how are you doing?
Oh, I thought we were talking about Moyes there. My bad.
Almost.
Oh, just got it. Doing good. Watching the show. Oh, just watching the show.
What a maneuver. What a maneuver. Joined with me.
What a maneuver.
Is the guy that hates the Canadian Destroyer as much as I hate the Canadian Destroyer, which I didn't even know that was possible, but it is, in fact, possible because the Canadian destroying one and only Moyes is also joining us today. Moyes, how are you doing?
What is going on?
Not much. How are you doing? I'm asking you a question. You don't get to ask me a question the moment I ask you a question. I said, Moyes, how are you doing? And you're like, what's going on? I don't know, Moyes. You tell me.
I mean, I got 3 segments of Tiffany Stratton yesterday, so I'm very happy.
You must be happy. We might even go into a little bit of NXT talk because I would like to hear what some of you guys what your takeaways are from this week's NXT, because it's filled with with bad booking decisions, scratch your head matches, and then
not after you hear my
characters.
Theory.
I mean,
not after you hear
true.
my theory.
That's true. Your theory's pretty good about NXT. I'm not gonna lie. So. All right, we are still on the road to 100 subscribers. Go to our YouTube page, Weekly Wrestling Heat, and subscribe. Enjoy the content. Not only do we do this wonderful podcast that you see normally every single Thursday, this week we're doing it on Wednesday because a few of our hosts actually live in an area that might get completely taken down by a freak storm. So we don't want to not have anything to talk about. So we're going to go ahead and talk about what I think is probably the most important thing as of right now, which is the Royal Rumble and the fallout from the Royal Rumble in terms of wrestling. Right now, as we speak, AEW is happening. So we will hopefully have a secondary roundup that's going to be hosted by our own Angel and Elias, talking about the occurrences that are happening on AEW. Because I do want to say, in the brief time that I watched AEW, there's some stuff that I would definitely like to comment about because, holy crap. In fact, my best of the week wrestling, so that I can talk about it, is going to be the Daniel Bryanson promo that he did with Moxley. But before we get to that, follow us on our YouTube page. Once we get to 100 subscribers, we are going to be doing a random drawing for one of our subscribers to get a free wrestling t-shirt of your choice. So if you like wrestling NXT style, you can get an NXT t-shirt. If you like AEW, you can get an AEW. If you like GCW, Moyes will not get you a Nick Cage t-shirt, but we will if you win. So let's go ahead and get into the best of week wrestling and hear what you guys think about the best of the week in wrestling. So Elias, what is your best of the week in wrestling for you?
My best of the week in this week is Rey Mysterio versus AJ Styles on Monday Night Raw. I always love seeing two of the GOATs in the industry go at it, and it was a great back and forth. I like one of the moves when AJ slid Mysterio out the ring and Mysterio just flipped up and stood back up. That was awesome. Shows how good they are in the ring if they just let him go. Just let them just be creatively free. I think we could see some of the best matches in WWE. But alas, that's my best of the week.
Well, that's exactly why it's under the best of week wrestling, because it is the best inside of what you saw in this week of wrestling. And if you have something that you like in wrestling as well, don't forget to leave us a comment in it as well. What about you? Let's drop down to Angel, actually. Angel, what is your best of the week in wrestling for this week?
Well, considering I'm watching the show right now, it's probably about to happen. So I'll go with seeing Seth Rollins come out with the Shield theme.
That was
during
pretty
Royal
cool.
Rumble.
That
was pretty neat. It popped me, even though I don't know what that is.
Really? You weren't watching the Shield at all?
I have no clue what the Shield was.
How do you not know what the? I mean, okay. I don't judge.
No.
I'm totally judging right now. I'm sorry. I'm totally judging.
I caught parts of it. It didn't interest me enough to stay tuned.
I'll be honest. It never interested me either. I agree with you. But what they did to incorporate that into the match made sense. Like, it was smart booking, and it was also fun booking, in my opinion, for WWE. So I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, WWE actually remembered stuff happened before, which was pretty cool to see. So I'll go with that.
Okay. You know what's fun is that they could also talk about Dean Ambrose all they want to, because it's not Jon Moxley. So, like, they could just be like, "Can you believe you murdered our friend Dean Ambrose?" And then it'd be fine.
No, but they
are mentioning John, though.
I know.
And they're going by Moxley. They're not saying Dean Ambrose. They're saying Mox.
Yeah.
So it's like it goes to show a little bit of how WWE has slowly progressed into not hiding history. Because we'll talk about it more when we get into Royal Rumble. But yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, and I do think that they are evolving, and there are hints of it for sure. What about you, Moise? I want to know, with your deadpan face that you're staring at us directly into our souls, basically, so you must have something strong to say. Hopefully it's not about Tiffany Straddle men, but it's something else. So what is your best of the week of wrestling for this week?
Okay, well, first of all, you guys didn't enjoy the Shield because the guy who was supposed to be the guy who takes the fall cried like a baby, took his ball, and went home for 8 years. Second of all, my favorite of the week.
What a shoot!
I'm going to give it to Pat McAfee's commentating.
Okay.
This guy is hilarious. Aside from you telling me that you're loving Impact recently, Matt, nothing pops me more than him during Shinsuke Nakamura's entrance. This guy's got so much energy, and Vince is just letting him go.
Yeah, I'm actually I really dislike when other champions enter the Royal Rumble, like the Intercontinental Champion or the United States Champion, or even a tag team champion. I do not like that, because I just think that it is the most overt way to say that this person obviously isn't going to win for many reasons, but I don't personally care for it. It's just not, they need to change that up already, and they need to have an Intercontinental Champion win the Royal Rumble so I can stop feeling this way. But I don't like it. But I'm glad that he was in it, because then we wouldn't have got Pat McAfee to talk about his entrance while he was walking down the ring as number 2. So that's pretty great. My best of the week in the week of pro wrestling, I'm going to go ahead and say that it's the Daniel Bryanson promo that he did after the Moxley match. And he did a great job with the swerve, because everybody thought that he was going to challenge him to a match. Everyone thought it was going to turn into whatever it's going to be between them, and eventually I think we still will get a match. I don't know what's going to happen out of this, but he instead said, "Hey, what if we just run this dang company, and me and you take over? You can be champion, I can be champion, we could be tag champions. Like, what if we get a couple of the other guys, teach them, and then create our own faction by teaching them how to kick butt, and then we can just join our own thing." Like, I loved this promo as a Bryan Danielson fan, because it means that we're not going to see immediate losses by him against somebody like Moxley, and it means that he's going to keep building his character. And I love the heel character of Bryan Danielson. So, like, I really like this promo. I like the idea and the future that could possibly be gotten out of it. What do you think's going to happen with this, Angel? Do you think we see an actual faction become, or do you think that it's more likely that we see that Moxley turns it down, and then we do see like a match?
I could see it going both ways. I mean, the working theory was that, hey, look, there's Kip. The working theory was that Moxley was going to go heel in the match against Bryan before fighting Hangman for the title. So I could see them still wanting to do that. It's going to be hard to boo Moxley now, though. So I think this is a good way to just kind of move forward, and maybe you have Danielson's tricking him. I don't know. We'll see. I do hope that they team up though. I think that'll be awesome.
Is it going to be
Plus,
a good idea?
it gives the tag division even more direction, which I don't think it has right now with younger guys kind of in charge, if you will.
I agree with that completely. I like the idea of having a very veteran style tag team in AEW, and what better of a tag team in for that than Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley. And I think our AEW loving fan Moise is going to talk about Red Dragon, but I don't know, maybe you're not. What do you have to say about that?
Okay, pause. We don't need another tag team. You have experienced guys in the tag team division. You have FTR. You have Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. Ethan Page was one of the best tag teams 2 years ago.
They're not exciting.
Elias won't.
They're not
They
exciting.
can be if
This is
they
exciting.
can be with Dan Lambert. Dan Lambert's one of the most exciting parts of AEW.
100% agree, but not the people underneath him. He is. I think he's far more over than his wrestlers.
You still have Sting and Darby. There's so many ways you can go. Like, you have veterans in the tag division. You have Proud and Powerful. You have so many. You still have the Lucha Bros once Phoenix comes back. We don't need another tag team. We don't need a faction.
I don't know.
God knows who they're gonna. God knows who they're gonna add. We don't need that faction.
I disagree.
So,
I think that you just don't like the people named for the faction, and so you're hyper exaggerating the idea of what this could create, which I think could be a very compelling story. Because what you could do is you could create a big bad faction that is now the ones that are running ramp shot on everything, and now need everybody to fight them. Like I think it's a good idea.
I really think that this is. I will agree with Matt. I think it's a good idea. Not on the tag team stuff, because I think that they could take it where Moxley goes for the World Heavyweight Championship, and DB can probably go to the TNT for a while. But at the same time, if they're talking about adding these guys that they've added, that they want to add, I think it's a great way to teach them and to hone and grow them. Like,
they could possibly give Daniel Garcia a personality and a character that you might like. There's a possibility of that, Moise.
If 2.0 couldn't do it, these guys were charismatic as hell in NXT. If they couldn't do it, Moxley and DB aren't doing it.
The way that you feel about Daniel Garcia, your dislike of him is my feeling towards 2.0. I don't know what you see in them. They're just annoying. They're just cheap heel magnets. Like, there's nothing about them that's...
You never watched them in NXT.
You're right, because I'm watching AEW. You're right, I'm watching AEW. And that's where I'm experiencing them. So it doesn't matter what they were, because this is what they are.
So I'm going to take your argument. I'm going to give it to Angel, who's excited about Adam Cole and the two dudes that he's with. Like, that's all from NXT.
Yeah, but
it's the same thing.
Okay, you know what, Moise? That's a pretty good point. We're going to go ahead and move on. That was our best of the week in professional wrestling, because we don't just care about the individual matches. We also care about the promos, the entrances, the things that are happening currently in professional wrestling. The best of wrestling does not have to be a match of wrestling, but it can be the things that are happening around professional wrestling. So tell us, what is your best in the week of professional wrestling? It doesn't have to be something that happened this week, just something that you saw this week that you think was the best. We're going to go ahead and jump into WWE talk real quick. Like I said, mainly we're going to be talking about WWE and not AEW, because it is happening at the moment of watching, of the show happening live at the moment. I believe Angel's probably watching AEW at the moment, so if he doesn't hear something that I said, I forgive him. I forgive you. I want you to know that you're okay.
To be fair, I have the volume off on it. Oh, something cool's happening though.
That's very strong of you. It'd be very difficult for me to make the decision between hearing Excalibur talk or me talk, because I think Excalibur's a lot better than me. So
yeah, he's definitely he's also a little bit more handsome than I am.
We don't know that. We don't fully. Well, I mean, we do know that probably, but he doesn't. I think you look better without a mask than he looks with a mask.
I agree. Thank you.
We're going to go ahead and talk about some storylines that are happening in the world of professional wrestling under the World Wrestling Entertainment banner. I want to hear from, I guess, Elias to kick things off, because he's the one that watches the majority of Monday Night Raw, though I believe Moise watched Raw this week as well. Angel, did you watch Raw this week?
I have not watched it yet. I watched parts of it. I was intrigued at one point, and then they kept cutting away from what I had the best of last week, and I didn't. Which was the scooter
It's a
segments.
3-hour show. It's a 3-hour show.
Yeah.
I find it very difficult to be interested in that entire 3 hours. But I do want to know some of the things that we learned from this week of Elimination Chamber talk, matches that are getting booked and ready to go. Elimination Chamber happening in Saudi Arabia, which is going to be a very big event, obviously. Elimination Chamber, I like that pay-per-view. I like that gimmick. I'm a big fan of the Elimination Chamber. I think it's become a little bit overused, a little bit, not like badly overused. And I say that as someone who loves the Royal Rumble. But I don't know. What are your thoughts, Elias, on this week's episode of the of Monday Night Raw and what we found out about when it comes to Elimination Chamber?
This is one of the most stacked elimination chambers in a while. Being the people that are in it, Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar, ironically, Austin Theory, AJ Styles. Like, I think it's one of the most stacked ones in a long time. I haven't seen. I like the way that they put the match together. It kind of took away from Brock Lesnar winning the Royal Rumble a little bit, in my opinion. When they could have they could have had him just lose and come back and get into the Elimination Chamber if he wanted what they were trying to do. But I understand it. But I'm intrigued. I'm excited to see this match for the men. And I'm intrigued to see what's going to happen next with that. I really am interested to see how Austin Theory is going to do with all these veterans because he's the youngest. He's the youngest one in that whole thing. So I think he's going to get tossed and slammed and beat up.
I do think after hearing what their plans are with Elimination Chamber, and I would like to hear, Moise, your thoughts on this. Does it kind of dapper? I originally didn't mind Brock Lesnar winning the Royal Rumble. I really didn't. I didn't mind him coming in as a surprise and winning the whole thing. It surprised me. Like, even when I saw him come out and I was like, oh, that means he's probably going to win, I still was intrigued and surprised, and I was like, I want to see what's going to happen with this. Do you feel like having the Elimination Chamber, and that's kind of why I think that the gimmick of the Elimination Chamber is kind of run a little bit thin on me, but do you think that having this Elimination Chamber set up after the fact when he wins, and I think he's going to win this as well, right? Do you feel like that kind of dampers him winning the Royal Rumble? What is your thoughts, Moise?
I think that Riddle's going to win this. And I think the storyline builds starting next week where Randy Orton starts getting jealous, and that's going to be the WWE title match.
Really?
Yeah.
That is not what I thought they were going with that.
This is a $1 billion company. They want stuff to leak when they want stuff to leak. There is a reason that Riddle report leaked.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
Said it was false already.
That's an interesting way to look at it, though. And I do agree that they will have things leak occasionally when they want it to. They had stuff leak about Becky and Charlotte. Obviously, like that was very much into the work of it all.
And here's the thing: I think we would all be excited for that match. I know at first you weren't, Matt, but I think now Riddle and Randy have won you over.
Well, they not only have they won me over, but the concept of having Riddle, who's a fresh talent, take over and be in charge and be a top tier guy is the thing that excites me more than anything else. Like I don't like Randy Orton. I feel like he is a bury machine as well. I feel like he's taken plenty of talent and buried them when he didn't need to. He's won matches he didn't need to. He's taken championship runs that he didn't need to over people that could have used that at the time. And I think that this is kind of him doing that for Matt Riddle, and I think that's a really good thing. Let's keep moving with the show.
I will say this. I think that that Randy Orton has grown because, like, I don't know if y'all saw the interview. He had an interview where he talked about how important was to pay respect to the person that's taking the bumps for you, specifically because there's a point where he brought up that saying, you know, if a person's taking bumps for me, I'm gonna buy him dinner or I'm gonna go get him an ice bag. And he's basically shown how much he's grown, how much he's enjoying his time now. And I think right now he's just at that point where he's cruising, where he's willing to put over younger talent. And it shows, and the respect that he gets from his peers nowadays compared to 10, 15 years ago is completely different from what it is today. Because, like I said, he's a grown, evolved, and like even him working with Riddle, I think he even said it himself that this is some of the best, most fun he's had in years.
I think it changed once he started that feud with Jinder Mahal. Took some L's to Jinder Mahal. There was that thing with Bray Wyatt. I don't really care about because I was never a Wyatt fan, but he put over Keith Lee too.
I don't know. It's so tough because like he put over Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal's gone. He put over Keith Lee. Keith Lee's gone. Like
Jinder Mahal's still there though.
Jinder Mahal's still there.
what is he doing? He's chasing the 24/7 championship.
He's on another show, Matt. You don't watch the product. Stop.
What show is he on? What show is he on?
He's
Main
on
event?
He's on SmackDown.
Doing what? Doing what? Tell me. I'm curious.
He's having
He-
matches. Him and Shanky, or was it Shanky or
On main
Veer?
event.
Where
No,
is
not
he on
on
the
main
card?
event. They were in the Sami Zayn promo segment last week, and then before that they were going into the feud with Hit Row, and Hit Row got let go, unfortunately. And that would have been a big feud for Jinder to put over those guys.
Jinder to put
Jinder
over those
But
guys.
over someone else. That's the point he's making.
I
Aren't we saying the same thing about Randy?
no, because we don't know what the future of Matt Riddle is yet. If
I don't believe that any talent beating Jinder Mahal does anything for them the same way that beating Randy would have done
Yeah, yeah.
for Jinder.
I
at that
agree.
time.
I agree. I'll give you that. But
Yeah.
then this comes back to last year when Matt was like, "Oh, they're not going to have Cesaro beat Seth Rollins." I will tell you right now, Riddle is going to beat Randy Orton in this feud.
where's Cesaro right now? Did
Where
he
is this
have-
feud coming from? That nothing's even close to being brought up with them feuding.
I know.
Why are we
it-
talking about
it's,
this?
it's a
Did I miss
rumor.
something?
I know you're absolutely right. This is a dirt sheep talk that we kind of just spiraled into. We do not need to go any further with it. I completely agree.
I think
Once
no,
something
I'm
materializes, from
I'm
it,
talking
then we can
about
talk
it as you need to sell out WrestleMania, right?
Agreed.
You need to sell out WrestleMania. Riddle and Randy is a feud that people will get behind.
Let's see if anything materializes from it. I do want to get into the Royal Rumble and talk about it because I do think that that's going to be a large majority of it. I see that we have a couple matches. Does anybody have anything individually particular that you want to talk about Raw or NXT? And we can go ahead and talk about that for a little while.
No, aside from Tiffany Stratton being great, the people crapping on Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins don't know wrestling.
Only thing I would say is that Riddle and Otis did have a good match. It led on from a good, entertaining segment of them doing the scooter race. I'm interested to see how whatever they're gonna do next week is gonna go. But going to NXT, I really enjoyed the main event of Ciampa and Braun Breaker versus Legado.
It was fine. It was fine. It's so difficult for me to get excited about good matches anymore. My brother.
Was it better than the six-man? Was it better than the six-man?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah,
I
it
think
was.
both of them were both very good matches, and I think that that's where you're almost like drawing strings at a certain point of like everybody can have a good match. These are all very talented people, and like to start harking about like the ability of them having a good match is like, of course they have a good match. They're performing at the highest level, and I don't know,
Yeah.
like to me that's not enough for me to get excited about wrestling purely as the good matches they have.
Matt, in NXT, you have to. That's the thing, because they're developmental. They're not at the highest stage, Matt.
They're trying really
This is high
hard to
school.
create individual characters and stories, though.
No, no,
yes, they
but
are. Yes, they are. They have.
there was
They
not
have
one
they have
NXT
hits.
superstar
They
in
have
the Rumble.
Hold
There
on.
was not one.
Hold on.
There was not one NXT. Okay.
That doesn't matter that there wasn't anyone in the Royal Rumble, which we'll get to. But they are creating extreme variations of characters to try and sell them and see how over they can get them. Now, you have to do that with story and character development, not just really good matches, because that's not, at the end of the day, what sells a character. You're going to tell me that Grayson Waller is not in a good storyline with LA Knight? You're going to tell me that the what's her name? Lee Chu? Or what's her first name? Susie Chu?
Wendy Sue?
Lindy
Wendy
Sue?
Chu?
I don't know why.
Wendy.
Wendy, yes. You're going to tell me that her sleeping girl gimmick is not character, that they're trying to see and test the water? Like, how crazy can we get?
It's getting
with
over,
our
though. That's
No, I agree. But I'm saying, like, how far can they push their comedy angle? Like, no, this is
No,
not.
but that's what I'm
NXT
saying.
is not
The-
purely
the
about
wrestling-
good matches. It's about.
No, I'm saying the
all of it.
wrestling adds to it, Matt. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying you say
think
that
that's
we
what
don't.
you said.
We shouldn't care about the good wrestling. You're saying we shouldn't care about the good wrestling, correct?
I'm saying that it's not enough to purely excite me to have a good match. That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying
Oh,
I'm
no,
saying where
but
NXT is, I think it's a big deal. That's all I'm saying.
I
I don't
think
buy that the
I
same way.
think, and we'll make this and move on. But the reason I like the match of Legado versus Braun and Ciampa is because there's two storylines evolving from that.
Yes.
There's the Legado, Santos Escobar eventually going after Braun Breaker, and then there's that possibility of getting Braun Breaker versus Ciampa in a another match, because it's kind of teased in a sense, but at the same time they're teasing them being a tag team. So it's an evolving storyline with that. I
They
will say that I don't think that Braun and Ciampa should have another match, but I am more interested in the angle growing between Santos and Braun Breaker, because these are guys that they're trying to build as top faces of NXT 2.0. So, or top stars of 2.0 to try to eventually groom to the main roster. If that's what the whole point of what the 2.0 is to evolve. They're trying, and it's hit and miss with some characters, but look at Chase University. It's slowly getting over. Wendy Chu is slowly getting over. So people like that are starting to slowly get over. But yeah, that's my point.
I think Angel saw something semi-exciting on AEW.
I think he did too. If you need to take a minute, please turn your camera off so that we are not hypnotized by you, because you definitely catch our attention.
I thought Elias was still on screen. My bad.
So yeah, I do think that there's certain things about NXT that I definitely like, and I don't think that they're not doing a good job. I don't think they're teasing them being a tag team at all. I think that's not a good take, because they're not going to be a tag team. I think that's super obvious. But I do think that they should have I think they should have a rematch. I don't know why they wouldn't. They need to make Braun look like
a rematch and Tommaso leaves.
Sure, and that'd be fine. But they definitely need Braun Baker to look like a fighter's champion, and somebody that's willing to give the person that he beat a rematch, which is like a normal thing. That's what's so frustrating right now about a lot of professional wrestling, not just NXT or WWE, but like, why are these champions that held the belt not getting a rematch like we're so used to seeing? I don't like that they didn't do it with Big E. I don't like that they didn't do it with Braun Breaker. I didn't like that they didn't do it with Kenny Omega. At least Kenny Omega was like, hey, I'm like injured and I'm going to leave and I'll maybe come back later for a championship redo. But like, I think that that's an important part of wrestling in the way that the stories are developed. Good.
Remember when the McMahon family came out and they said, we're going to give you guys what you want, no more rematch clauses?
I don't remember that. Personally, I don't. But we're going to go ahead and move on from there. That was NXT. NXT was a very enjoyable episode this week, but it definitely didn't have anything groundbreaking. It was a normal episode that just kind of progressed what's already happening. I do like that we saw Pete Dunne, and we are going to see more Pete Dunne. I just worry about them burying Pete Dunne, because I always worry about what they do to these amazing. No, Tony is not good. He is not You lied to me. You lied to me about Tony D. You did. You absolutely lied. Let's talk about the Royal Rumble. I want to hear some very quick things about it from each individual. We're going to structure it like this. I want to hear about what you thought about the flow of the Royal Rumble, what you thought was the surprise of the Royal Rumble, and what you think of the winner of the Royal Rumble. So we're going to go ahead and start with Angel. First, Angel, I want to hear
men's or women.
We'll start with the men's. And I want. Well, what you guys want to start with, men's or women's? You tell me.
We can go in order. We can go in order of the show. Do we want to talk about the whole show or just the Rumbles?
I think that we're going to start with the Rumbles. That's what I'm most interested in.
Right.
The matches we'll talk about the matches, obviously, but I want to talk about the Royal Rumble.
For the women's match, I was kind of surprised by how many eliminations the Bellas got. I think that was not necessary. I mean, you don't really need them to get all the eliminations. You could have let God dang it. Rihanka. Yeah.
Rihanka. Yes, definitely.
Great tag team.
That great tag
some
team.
of those guys. You could have let any of those guys get those eliminations instead, and it would have been cool. I was surprised that they actually let Mickie James do quite a bit more, right? Like, she did more than I thought she was going to be able to do.
Agreed.
Sarah Logan was a big surprise. She wasn't that important to the show, Yeah.
I thought that was
So,
dumb. I think
yeah,
there was a lot of fake fans in the audience that were like trying to make that seem like it mattered. Like, like everyone that's like, yeah,
Well,
that girl.
she was
That
she definitely was way off of our radars, so that's a surprise.
Agreed. We didn't.
I
We
think
didn't
we
get
were
her.
trying to come up with during our last segment last week, what is something that would be a genuine surprise? Like, what would we consider to be a surprise?
I guess
We
that's
kinda knew most
technically a
of them.
surprise.
That's technically a surprise, right?
I agree.
So, So yeah, and
Get out of here.
yeah, the match itself, there wasn't really much else. So
What did you think about the winner? What did you think about the women's winner of the? What did you think about Ronda Rousey coming in?
Moise has something to say. I
Moise
think.
will have his turn. Moise will have his
Oh,
turn.
okay, cool.
Angel, what did you think of Ronda Rousey winning the women's Royal Rumble?
It was inevitable, right? Like, who else was gonna win?
Well, I thought
We were
Rhea was
hoping-
going to win. That's who I was hoping.
But she just won it a couple years ago,
No,
right?
she didn't. Bianca did.
He hasn't won.
Or Bianca did. Yeah,
Yeah,
Bianca won it,
Bianca
sorry.
is not
But-
actually a thing. They actually
but-
don't go together.
Yeah. No. I mean, she had her WrestleMania moment, so to speak, with Charlotte.
So did
So-
Ronda. You can't. That I get
And
where
she's
you're
in the
coming
middle.
from.
She's in the middle of a feud with a fake superhero villain. So she's nowhere close to getting to the title again.
All right.
Right?
If you say
What?
so. I don't know. I don't think that
You're not gonna go from that to fighting against Charlotte Flair or Becky Lynch. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I don't think that it's that far of a leap. I think that they've
Moise
positioned-
muted. I think this show works better with him muted.
I did not mute him, but I do think that they've positioned Rhea to be in a position, and even Ash, even Nikki Ash. I don't think she's higher mid card. She's not the low mid card of it, and I think that Rhea could easily transfer from that feud into a top tier feud, in my opinion.
She just won the match too on Raw, so hopefully she's done with this. I did see that.
Never.
That's a sheet of paper.
These are receipts. I think is Moise. Just talk. Your turn, Moise. What did you think
Yeah,
about the
you're
flow?
causing a scene.
The flow, the surprise,
Okay.
and the winner of the women's Royal Rumble. Let's hear your.
He actually
thoughts.
wrote stuff down. That's what's interesting. He actually
Thank you.
wrote stuff
He takes
down.
this very
So-
serious, guys. He takes it. I like this. I like this side of Moise.
So, the Bellas had so many eliminations because they will face Zelina and Carmella at WrestleMania for the tag titles. Next, Ronda winning.
As
Singles
long
titles.
as long as he keeps the conspiracies quick, I don't mind him. We'll let him go.
There's no other tag teams. That's my only theory.
Then have a tag team match, not eliminate single stars.
I wish Sasha Banks wasn't first in, even though I love the split spot. I wish she came in later so it would have been more prominent. It seemed like she was out before any of the big players came in. That upset me. She looked like $1 million. Skip that part. Ronda winning. I am okay with this decision because Ronda winning sets up Ronda versus Charlotte. I hope, in parentheses, because this is a big money match. I think you can hold off on Becky for another 6 to 12 months as Bianca still needs her win back. Becky will probably go feud with a Mickey, possibly a Lita. Lita happened. And so I am very satisfied with this Rumble. Not greatly satisfied, but very satisfied. I give it a 7.5 out of 10.
That was amazing. That was absolutely Moise. I can say nothing but thank you. That was very prompt, concise, and well thought out and written. Moise, that was amazing. That was
It reminded me of junior high when we used to do the speeches.
That was fantastic. Don't let anyone ever tell you it wasn't. Elias, I want to hear from you about the flow, the biggest surprise, as well as the
Goodness.
winner of the women's Royal Rumble. What
Oh,
was your
man.
opinion of it?
For the women's Royal Rumble, I thought it was the better of both matches of the men's and women. I will say the surprise of I love my favorite moment was Mickey James. I like the fact that she came out to hardcore country. I like the fact that she came out recognized as the Impact Women's Champion. And that's one thing that is big for Impact, which Impact got the WWE rub, which is great. So it does show that it does. I mean, for them. I mean, being honest, it does something for them. Biggest surprise of the night to me was Melina, and I was kind of disappointed at the same time that they eliminated her that quick. I wanted Melina to be in it, and she was. I'm not gonna lie, I was watching it, I was marking out. I missed those splits, but at the same time, I was still not happy how quickly she got eliminated. I felt that she deserved to be in there a little longer. As far as the winner, I already knew when her music hit that's the winner. And it is what it is. I mean, I want her to go against Charlotte rather than Becky and hold off that Becky storyline for a little longer. Probably SummerSlam or WrestleMania of next year if it can. But that's it for me.
Really quick, Matt, before you give your thoughts, let me shoot an idea off to the guys that have already gone. Would you be more into Becky as a face going after a heel Ronda in 6 months to a year? Because that's why I said I wanted to hold off 6 months to a year.
Becky is better chasing the belt than having the belt. And that when she was chasing after the titles before she became Becky two belts, that was some of her best work. And it's like kind of like with Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley looks better chasing after the title. So I feel that it's one of those things that her best work comes when she's Becky, like the man Becky, or like this big time Bex.
I don't know.
Is not
I kind of disagree with that, and I'm interested to hear what Angel says about this too. Before I go into my Rumble thoughts, we'll discuss this very briefly. But I actually prefer Becky with a belt. I think it helps her. I think she's and maybe this is controversial, but like I think the belt makes Becky more than
Becky makes the belt.
Yeah, like I think that like Britt, I think Britt makes the belt better than the belt makes Britt, in my opinion. That's why I like her chasing it, because it's like this accomplishment as she's like going after it. But I feel like Becky without a belt, it feels way less. She feels way less significant of a character on that journey for me personally. I don't know. What do you think? And I don't think Ronda's going to be heel. And maybe I'm wrong, because in her first run, she wanted to be face, and when she was beating the crap out of Flair, what happened? Like she was mad that they booed at her when she was.
They booed her when she thought she was gonna be cheered. And
yeah, yeah.
When she faced
her.
Alexa and Nia,
yeah, that's what it was. But like, and so like, I don't know if like that's gonna positively change the way that she's going to continue her run this time around. I don't know. But I don't think she wants to be heel. Like that's not my feeling.
No, because we're talking about Becky, right?
No, he said Ronda. He said
Ronda.
Do you want to see them go after Ronda as a heel? Face Becky go after Ronda as a heel.
I think Becky's wanting to do a face run. I know I watched the Stone Cold the Broken Skull sessions with Becky, and she kind of hinted that she's trying to move away from the heel thing. She's trying to go back to the face.
That's no shot based on her promos the past couple weeks with Dewdrop. I don't think I'm not into Becky at all. I don't care if people can get mad all they want.
Sacrilegious.
But you like Britt Baker?
They're way different. That's not a
very different. That's a terrible comparison.
That was a bad comparison, Moise. Bad Moise. Bad Moise. Down Moise. I'm gonna give my
thoughts.
I'm gonna go.
Hold on.
And I'm gonna give my thoughts.
Before you go.
Okay.
Before you go.
We're not leaving. We still got another 45 minutes of the show.
So Chris Delgadillo, who for some reason comments aren't working, we'll get that fixed.
Comments are all disabled. Yeah, on YouTube.
Turns out he said they need to be turned on.
He says that I don't think Ronda goes heel. Becky will most likely keep the belt till next year and then form a unification match.
That's way too long for her to have those belts.
And then he said, "You tell him, Matt." He told.
Becky, Baker, and Lynch are in no comparison. I agree. All right, so thank you for finding a way to messaging us that, though, Chris. We appreciate that a ton. I'm going to give my reactions to the Royal Rumble because it's time to do that already for myself. For the female Royal Rumble, I want to talk about the flow, which I thought was actually very good. It kept me entertained the majority of it. There was way more legends comparatively to the men's Royal Rumble, which I thought was a little disappointing for the men's, but the women's I thought had a lot of really cool ones that I didn't necessarily expect. I did not expect to see Ivy. I thought it was a really good way that they got Ivy in there, who obviously did not want to be wrestling, is my assumption, because she didn't want to take like any big bumps. So she went in there.
You mean Ivory?
Ivory, yeah. What did I say?
Yeah, Ivy.
Ivory, yeah. Yeah, right to censor. I know who I'm talking about. Just because you don't doesn't mean I don't. Anyways, I thought it was great because she obviously didn't want to take a bump. So she went out there with a gimmick and just was yelling at them and stuff. And I thought it was funny. I liked seeing Molly Holly. I got 2 out of my 3 for the special guests or for the surprises right. I wish we would have saw Mickey James in the Final Four. I think the Final Four is supposed to mean something. It did not mean anything in this year's Royal Rumble. It didn't mean anything for the women's Royal Rumble, and it didn't mean anything for the men's Royal Rumble because they didn't make a big deal out of it. I thought that if I would have been Impact and they wanted my champion, I would have said that I want her in the Final Four to be a big deal. I think that would have made it so much more interesting too. Like in a general state, like we don't necessarily think she's going to win it, right? But how much cooler would it have been for her to be in the Final Four and to have that brief moment of thinking, what if she did win it? And I think that could have been really cool. I don't mind Ronda Rousey. Agree. I don't mind Ronda winning. I like Ronda. I legitimately like Ronda in professional wrestling. And as a professional wrestler, I think she goes to it like a fish to water. I think she has stellar matches. I think she's decent on the microphone as a character personality. And I want to see what they do with her. I like this winning. I would have rather seen somebody else win it that needed a push and wasn't already at the top of a card, but I don't mind Ronda winning it at all. I like Ronda Rousey as a character, as a wrestler, as a just in general in this whole thing. I liked it.
We've always said that that Top Star sells tickets. So looking at what the WrestleMania landscape is going to look like this year, a lot of it is going to fall upon the top stars this year. Unfortunately, because I think we are going to see more of the we're going to see more of the newcomers get built up, but I think WrestleMania this year is more about the established people, the big names, because it is in Dallas, it is at the AT&T Cowboys, whatever it is, stadium, home of the Cowboys, but yeah. I think this year is going to be the year of the big names.
I think that's WrestleMania every year. Like, I think that's underselling what they're usually. This is all about marketing, and it's all about, wow, you have a Dak Prescott card. I'm learning so much about you that it's just bizarre. Just
he's a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, your WrestleMania. What year is that? WrestleMania 33, 34? Dallas?
That was the one in Dallas.
Yeah, it was one in Dallas.
I didn't
2016 in Dallas. My point of showing that was it's always about the big names.
Yeah. Who's on that chair? Who's under your ass or butt right now, Moise? Who's under your butt? What newcomer that year is on your butt? Dean Ambrose is on there. And Sasha.
The 3. Sasha, Bianca.
You could say Becky. You could say Becky too.
Well, that was the year. That
was their main event year, though.
Yeah,
Well,
it wasn't the main event year,
continue.
But it was the year.
Let's continue.
Let's continue.
I want to talk about the men's Royal Rumble match, though we can get into the remainder of the show. Once again, we're just going to go over the same way that we did before. I want to talk about the flow, the surprise, and the overall winner of the Royal Rumble and your thoughts on it. Angel, let's go ahead and kick it back over to you and talk to you about the men's Royal Rumble. What were your thoughts?
All right. Flow-wise, absolutely terrible, this men's Royal Rumble. At least you could have given us some hope with AJ, maybe, as an Iron Man, but they didn't even give us that. He got kicked out fairly early for what we would consider to be the Iron Man.
Yeah, 30 minutes. I think it was at 28 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, and he got a lot of eliminations, but I just something about the way the thing was structured, I didn't really buy into him going much further, and it was kind of annoying. I did get the surprise with Drew. I think someone last week said that Drew wasn't going to even be there, and I was like, I don't know.
You shouldn't have changed it. You shouldn't have changed it.
Whatever. I still said it. All right. I wonder how much of the flow with including Knoxville, that was fun and all, but with Kofi eliminating himself on accident, I wonder how much of the flow was harmed by that. Because Biggie came fairly close after that, where maybe they had some stuff they were going to do together to promote, hey, Biggie's now on SmackDown as a tag person who used to be your champion.
It definitely affected how I think the men's Royal Rumble ended, right? Like, had he made that spot, had that spot been good, I feel like we would talk about it slightly different. Not a lot different, not a lot.
I would say even then, it's not like he was going to win it or be much more important than helping something that Big E was gonna do.
Agreed.
I think after that happened, the whole tempo of the match just went the crap.
Yeah,
little bit,
but I
a little
mean,
bit.
the guys, these are supposed to be the best of the best. They could have helped. They could have come up with something else to help flow the match a little bit. And even then,
Agreed,
I don't think
agreed.
one guy should have affected the complete flow of the Rumble
Agreed,
that
agreed,
much.
Agreed.
No, just in response to Elias.
Yeah.
And nobody doubted anything other than Lesnar winning, which means we just were kind of waiting for that to
Until
happen.
Lesnar came in, though, like, so okay, was everybody not surprised, or was people? Were you surprised or not surprised that Lesnar goes in the Rumble? I was
I
surprised.
wasn't.
Oh, really? Okay.
I wasn't.
I'm a mark.
I wish they had an explanation. I don't care how bad it would have been.
I hate it every time it happens. I agree.
Every time it happened, and it's just like, well, Brock showed up, because you can't use the excuse that Heyman got it for him now. You can't use the excuse that it was always planned because he wanted to go after Roman. Because if that's the case, why didn't it happen every year? If I was a champion, I would want to always be in it. Whatever.
I hate.
I would
wanna
have rather seen
Yes.
for 30 be a complete like nobody and not nobody, but somebody in the undercard and just get their butt whooped from Lesnar and take
like
it
Nia Jax style.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
just
like
show something happen behind,
behind the scenes.
you know, and you
Yeah,
can
even him
you can
yelling
even-
at Vince, right? Like even him yelling in the gorilla
Well,
position.
not even that.
About
You-
like
you
I'm going to
have-
take this spot. I'm going to do this. You guys screwed me over. Blah blah blah. Like something. I agree. Anything would have been better than him just being the number. Oh man, I can't wait. We're going to continue. So you're not a fan of the winner, is what I'm taking. You're not a great fan of it. And what was your biggest surprise of the Men's Royal Rumble, if there was something positive that you'd have to say about it? Yeah, Angel.
Oh, yay, we get Lesnar Roman at Mania again.
All right,
I do like.
Okay, go ahead.
No. I do like that that he won it, but then it gives me even more interest in the fact that he's in the Elimination Chamber.
Really?
Because
it makes it less interesting to me.
Oh, it makes it super interesting for me because it's like, what a smart, like this is a baby face being smart. I have a title shot, but he's also going to give me a shot at that one also. Why not take that? If you're Lesnar, you would do that, would you not?
No, yeah, I agree. It
makes
the
me super
Elimination
to be
Chamber
like,
for
cool.
a title.
Yeah, for Bobby
Yes,
Lashley's
it's
It's
for
for
title.
Bobby
Lashley's
Lashley's title. Oh, I missed
Yeah,
that
Or
part.
Lashley's title.
Oh,
which is
crap. That's
yeah.
Now I'm interested.
Yeah, so it's like cool. Well, now I actually think I don't see them wanting to unify the titles. It's a good way out, but that's why I think it's very interesting now. So
I think we do
that's
see
my
unification at
thoughts.
WrestleMania. Actually, I do think we see unification at WrestleMania. I do think that's going to happen. I want to hear what Moise has to say, though. We're going to go ahead and move over to Moise. Moise, what did you think about the Men's Royal Rumble? Please give us your flow, your surprise, and your overall thoughts on the winner. And without further ado, take it away.
Okay, before I start on all that, you guys, Elias said he would rather see a nobody win it. We don't want that. We just saw it with Otis and Money in the Bank. So take that off.
I didn't say that.
You can't unify the titles because they sell too many. Thinking like a businessman. Sorry. All right. We overhyped this Rumble. We heard Mickey James' name and we thought Forbidden Door. That's on us. Matt, you need to go to www.shop.com and buy every piece of Bad Bunny merch they have because you have been crapping on this guy for 2 years now. Where the hell is Veer? Why is Veer still coming?
He's coming.
I wish Shane McMahon's spot was Montez or Austin Theory lasting longer. And I wish that Riddle, Randy, and Biggie got some offense in on Brock before getting tossed out. Riddle, because we all know why. Randy, because I think it would have been a good callback. And Big E, because I think it would have been a good callback. And Kofi, if he were still in it. If he didn't. If that happened, I'm not going to get mad at Kofi. 6 out of 10.
All right.
Pretty high. It's pretty high.
I think 6 out of 10 is pretty fair. I think that's fair.
That sounded like a college
thesis
essay right there.
Yeah,
Thesis
I'm
right
proud of you, Moise. You're doing a
I'm
great
proud
job.
of
You're
you.
killing it. You're killing it.
Does everyone not agree Matt needs to go buy every
No,
piece
I
of
still will
Bad
crap
Bunny
on him.
merchandise there
No,
is?
he's still absolute trash.
Hey, you take
Trash.
an F5 and do a Canadian Destroyer.
Sure, if I have Matt Riddle under me who's going to jump for me, yeah, I'll do a bunny hop all day long.
Okay, taken at 5.
Sure. Did you see how he landed? He's just like, oh, it's like a pillow.
Flop.
Anyways, he's still trash. And get out of my wrestling ring, Bad Bunny.
Hey, he has to
Oh.
respect a
Get
lot of the
out
veterans.
of my ring, Bunny.
All right,
He's done
Elias,
better than a lot of
Elias,
other
I want to
people.
know what you have to say. Elias, please, if you might inform us of your opinions of the Men's Royal Rumble, please give us your flow, your surprise, and your overall thoughts on the winner.
I honestly thought that this was the worst men's Royal Rumble in a while. And I will agree with Moise. I think a lot of people expected surprises, even us, expected surprises from the Royal Rumble. So I think we set an expectation that didn't hit because the past couple of years we've been we've been we've been spoiled by big returns or big surprises that have happened, like the Brock Lesnar elimination by Drew McIntyre, or Edge coming out of retirement, or Christian coming into the Rumble, and stuff like that. I thought that we were spoiled a little bit, and I think this year is one of those years that it was just a regular Rumble. Um, and I mean, the Bad Bunny and Johnny Knoxville spots were pretty cool. Were pretty fun and entertaining. I did enjoy, as much as you don't like him, I did enjoy Bad Bunny doing the Canadian Destroyer on Riddle, especially how Riddle sold it. That was funny. I wasn't a fan of him eliminating Sheamus. But it is what it is. As far as Brock
Feud.
Lesnar winning,
That's the feud.
yeah. But as far as Brock Lesnar winning, I after the match that happened, I expected him to come out in the Royal Rumble. Um or so I really wish it would have been something like along when there was number 30 with in backstage laid out, and then he grabbed Adam Pearce and said, "Put me in the Rumble." And then Adam Pearce said, "Yeah." I think that would have been sold a little better. But from there, I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst. So
I would have totally guessed if Moise was giving it a 6 that you would have said 6.5. I called that. I was calling that. Here's the thing: is I think that we can all dignify that this was a bad Royal Rumble. I still love the Royal Rumble. So to me, it's like pizza. Bad pizza is still like good pizza, and a bad Royal Rumble is still a good Royal Rumble at the end of the night for me. And I don't mean that as like, oh man, this was great, I'm going to recommend it, blah blah blah. But I legitimately love the Royal Rumble concept and matchup. I wished, and I think Moise, you're really good. I think you're great, okay? And I think you hit the nail on the head, because I overhyped this Royal Rumble from a very early time when we were talking about this. I kept saying, now I think they're going to do something out of left field. I think it's going to be crazy. I think that the winner's going to be something we don't expect. Like, I really had really good high expectations for the Rumble. I really did, and I did expect Cody Rhodes to show up. I did expect that Forbidden Door to be open for the men's one as well. I expected too much. I agree. I was wrong. Though I should not have been wrong about Corey Graves making his in-ring return at this match. That was a missed opportunity, in my opinion. I still stand by that. The flow of the Royal Rumble for the men's was pretty much the entirety of waiting for the end of it, which is not a good way to feel about a Royal Rumble. You should be interested with the entirety, not just waiting for the end to happen. And that's why I just didn't think it was good. The biggest surprise, I actually popped for Drew McIntyre. I thought that was really cool to see him come in. I thought about Angel right away, and I was like, Angel's a smart guy. I got to start taking what he says a little bit more seriously, because that was a good call. You called it, and it was a good call. And the winner, I actually, and this is once again the same thing we were talking about, how I said this was not a good Royal Rumble, but I totally enjoyed it, because bad Royal Rumble is still fun to watch. And I actually don't dislike Brock Lesnar being the winner. I really don't. And I don't like thinking like the businessman Moise style or anything, but like, it is the best for business to put him as in the main event of WrestleMania. It absolutely is right now. And I do think that he's doing some of his most interesting work as this babyface character. And I think they got Paul Heyman away from him so he can continue to be a babyface again, and we can now feel more sympathy for him. Like as much as I hate WWE at times, like, this is the right call, the right move, and it's going to generate interest and buzz in WrestleMania, and it's already done that. Everybody's BSing on the Royal Rumble, men's and women's, but everybody on the internet is talking about it. This is getting way more talk about for the bad booking and all the negative things about it than the great booking of 2020 got. Than the wonderfulness of Bianca winning in 2021. Like, this is getting more talk about this year than the previous 2 years, and both of those years were good years in WrestleMania. Or, I mean, good
Really
years for Royal
quick.
Rumble.
Really quick,
Yeah.
I just read the comments. Chris said they can't unify titles because of sales. Matt, you talk to Justin more than anyone. Can you tell him how much those sales actually mean to Vince?
A lot. They mean a lot. I don't disagree that we I don't know if we'll see a unification, because ever since they started doing multiple belts for things and they sell them, they won't want to unify them, but they will do an undisputed. Because at some point you can either
Yeah, he'll
make a
carry
new
around
belt,
both titles. You're going to carry around both titles.
and then you
yeah.
can make a new title, right, out of that undisputed title, blah blah, and then you can do it again. Like, this is not the first time we've had two titles, not the first time we've unified two titles, and it won't be the last time we create another two titles, right? Like, so like I don't necessarily see it not happening. I like unification title matches. Same thing with like Cody and Sammy that we saw with the ladder match, and stuff like that. Like, I enjoy that storyline for those matches to happen. That was the Royal Rumble parts of it. We're going to go and talk about the matches of it real quick. I don't want to talk about each match because I don't think that they're needed to unless we all have different matches. My best match of the evening was the Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns match. I thought it was very well done. I want to hear as a round table if anyone has any other thoughts on it. I liked the DQ finish. I really did. And two reasons why I like the DQ finish. I was surprised by it, and it's a different way to end a match. And I think that's so important in professional wrestling, to have different ways for winning and losing in matches. It can't always be pin. It can't always be submission. It can't always be even a count out, which is pretty rare overall. But a DQ finish, I feel I popped as much for this DQ finish as the first time we saw the 60-minute time limit draw for Cody and Darby. Like, I was surprised. I was like, I can't believe they did that. Because you get the heat on Roman still, and Seth wins the match, which is the whole you can't beat me. And he didn't. He lost, but he made sure he kept his belt. And I thought that was great. I really liked the Seth Rollins Roman Reigns match as a whole, and the story that they told inside the ring, and the ending of the match. What did you think of that match, Elias?
I agree. But I think wrestling as a whole has gotten tired of DQ finishes, as we've known to grown and see. Even in AEW, the DQ finish is booed upon, even a time limit, because people want to see a definite winner. I will say that Seth Rollins trolling Roman Reigns with the the Shield entrance was pretty rad. I think it was one of the biggest moments. I heard the crowd pop pretty well. But also the afterwards of what happened. I wasn't happy with the DQ, but what they told after, the story that they told afterwards, made everything come full circle to what Seth did to Roman. It was kind of Roman got his revenge at the same time. And I think that was what made it okay for me to happen that the way.
What about you, Moise? What did you think about the DQ finish and the Roman Reigns Seth Rollins match in general?
You know why I like this match? There was a moment in it where Roman was just beating up Rollins, and Rollins looked up and he said, "I love you, brother." And you know, when I get those sentimental moments in my matches, that is what sells me. And I hope that down the line, these two become a tag team again, or their friendship is shown on TV, and they triumph, and together they come back as one. And maybe Moxley comes back, maybe he doesn't. If he doesn't, you can bring in Kurt Angle, who is an honorary member. But yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want to see.
God bless you, Moise. God bless you. Elias, Angel, what did you think about Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns?
Well, nothing close to that. Nothing close to that. So, it was no. It was a good match. This is one of the better WWE matches that I have seen, that I enjoyed. right? As a pure match. Both of the guys are good. They understand what they're doing. Their characters are defined, which is good, right? Just talk about like what he was talking about with NXT. The characters aren't really defined. They can have great matches, but I don't care because I don't care about the characters. These two guys know what they're doing, know who they are. A lot of history to build off of, which the company lets them build off of. So overall, the match was really good. You wouldn't expect anything less. I do have a problem with the DQ finish only because, and I hate that I think this way because I love it in WWE and AEW, excuse me, because there's no precedent that it's going to consistently happen as a way to get out of making a decision. This was purely done to get out of having to have Seth lose or have Seth win, whatever you wanted to do, right? However you wanted to phrase that. It was purely done out of not wanting to give a definitive winner. And I think the beatdown that happened at the end was a way to salvage it, to try to say, well, no, they're booing the beatdown. Makes much more sense. You can beat Seth. It's okay. We've seen him lose before. He doesn't lose anything in losing to a guy who's been champion for over 500 plus days. Just beat him. You don't need the DQ in this case. But the match itself was really good.
I do agree that the one thing that we spoke to in our group chat and stuff that I do totally agree with is I do think it's wasted because I don't think it's going to be used to be a driving force for anything else, and that is a problem because it's such a good story ending for a match, and that's
it's like they were so close to being right on the nose with everything, perfect with it.
It's
and
like we
it was
need
just that one little thing.
It's like Royal Rumble needs to be the pay-per-view before WrestleMania, so that this DQ finish could lead into a no holds bar match between these two, where a disqualification finish wouldn't happen to begin with. Or
Matt, to what you say, what I say,
okay,
what I said,
calm down.
it would tie it all together.
Wait, what happened? What did I miss right there? I don't.
If these two guys' friendship triumphs, and
He
down
beat
the
him
line
down.
they tag.
Also, can we just talk about how stupid
beat
it
him
is?
down!
Can we talk about how stupid it is that some beatdowns require the entire referee and security to come down and stop from happening, and then other beatdowns are like, just let him air out his grievance, like just let him blow off that.
That was
steam.
one of those cases.
I hate that. I hate that stuff though.
Only
That's
way I
so
can get away
dumb.
with it. Only way I get away with it and I enjoy it is when it's like happening to a heel.
Well, yeah.
Right? Seth is a heel, right? The ref's kind of like,
yeah.
just do it. It's okay.
Right? But like it's still dumb.
Yeah.
It's very come on. Like sometimes wrestling is dumb, and this is one of those situations where wrestling is dumb. That's all I'm saying.
I think the problem is you're just trying to be smart.
I actually think the worst match of the evening was Becky Lynch versus Doudrop, and the reason why is because I did not believe Doudrop had a chance of winning this match for any reason at all. So the hope spot seemed dumb to me. The match just seemed like a matter of fact to me, and it also felt like it felt like it was insulting me to a point. Like I know that sounds like a little extreme, and maybe I'm just like frustrated, but like I did not like this match. I didn't think it was good, and it's mainly because I did not believe in Doudrop as a worthy challenger or somebody that was going to win this match. What about you, Moise? What did you think about Doudrop versus Becky Lynch?
I didn't care about this. And honestly, I think we just go into the Bobby and Brock match. I think the guys will agree too. I think you'll agree.
Well, no,
right?
I wasn't going to go into all matches. My point was I was going to talk about what I consider to be the best match of the card and also the worst match of the card.
And the worst. Okay,
and
I agree with you. Then the sign catching on fire didn't help either.
I didn't.
Yeah,
I actually didn't notice that. I actually I don't know if I like lost all interest or something, but like I did not notice the sign catching on fire.
Well, the crowd was dead. The crowd was dead already when because everybody they had cleared out a whole section.
Had to clear out the whole section, yeah.
Oh.
And then they brought down the WrestleMania sign to fix it, so the attention was literally not on the match.
Oh boy! Now I feel bad for hating this match. All of a sudden,
the match,
and the women did the best they could, given the circumstance. So, but with the crowd not being into it, Becky is a person that thrives with crowd pop. So since there was the crowd wasn't attention. When the crowd wasn't into it, then
serious.
No, she even said it herself. Her and Stone Cold even have said it that they thrive with crowd.
Oh, we're not talking about Becky Lynch like she's Stone Cold. Stop that.
I know.
I'm talking. Okay, go watch the Broken Skull session. That's where I'm talking. That's where I got that.
Sometimes
line.
WWE will make big stars out of people that they want to make you feel is a big star. And I'm sorry,
every performer needs the crowd.
Yeah,
I don't like that as an excuse.
I agree. I completely agree. I think that Becky needs the attention. I think what I'm saying is I think Becky Lynch is a poor seller, for instance, and I think that she does better as selling even in a match with the more crowd that gets behind her, like for that hope spot by the end of it. Like, I think she needs the attention. I'm Moise. Go ahead.
Hold
Moise.
this topic. Hold this. Let's make this a topic next week.
Of what? I think this is a good topic. What is the topic?
Is Becky Lynch good? I think it's what we're arguing, and I think she's great. Yeah.
And me and Angel seem to be on the opposite. I don't know if there's a lot to argue because all of wrestling is subjective, obviously. You don't think that Daniel Garcia is good, and we can all here tell you that he's not bad. Doesn't mean he's good. But we can tell you he's not bad. Same thing.
He's phenomenal in the ring. He's phenomenal in the ring.
Oh God, we're not going down this tangent.
We're not going down.
Agreed. Any other match you guys want to talk about? Is there a match you want to talk about?
Bobby Brock.
See, and here's the thing: is I know that I already said that this was not like a big deal to me, and this is the proof of me hosting right now. But it is not a big deal to me. So I want to talk to Angel first. Angel, tell me why you want to talk about Bobby and Brock, and try not to say the moment line that you're becoming famous for.
Damn it. I wanted to say because of the moment.
Oh, you said it.
I was really going to say that.
You got it.
It is important, though. It is a big match. And this is an instance of protecting someone where it could be a good thing. Again, though, it's just since it was done earlier in the show, too, with Seth, this had less of an impact. We were like, well, okay, of course it's going to happen like this where Bobby's going to get some help or whatever. And whoop-de-doo, maybe he gets a rematch down the road kind of thing, right? So, yeah, that kind of sucked because I think you can have Bobby win, and it's okay.
I don't think you can, though, with the way that the booking built this story that they're going for, just like what you had said about, you saw what happened earlier. So
sorry. I think you can have Brock win.
Oh, okay, yeah, I agree with that.
Sorry.
I agree with that.
Sorry. I said Bobby. I meant Brock. You can have Brock win here, and it's okay. But they booked themselves into it.
Yeah, they booked themselves into a corner with this one because the match started off fine with them going to.
The match was good. Yeah,
the match was good. I just think for a certain point, what they did at day one was thrown out the window because Bobby made Brock Lesnar owned him at day one, and then come Royal Rumble, Brock Lesnar got the upper hand. So it's it kind of, and then the promos leading into Royal Rumble kind of not buried, but kind of made Bobby Lashley look weak. So it's they regressed in the whole match.
I do think that this match, I thought I had the weird feeling that they were trying to make Bobby look weaker than what he should look like. And I know that's because Brock Lesnar a little bit. I don't have a lot of opinions that are not positive on this match. So I'm going to purposefully push myself out of the conversation more and ask Moise what he also thought about this match. And I love that Moise, you're my favorite. Smart Moise is my favorite Moise.
So, you know what was cool about this match is Brock had the upper hand most of the match after in day one where Bobby took most of the match. But you can build that on Brock was fatigued at day one because of the three other challengers because he was suplexing all of them. So now when his only focus is Bobby, he's not going to get tired suplexing Bobby 15 times. And then Roman came out at the end. I think it could have been good without Roman coming in if you just had Bobby somehow win. But the thing is, they built the Hurt Lock, and you're obviously not going to have Brock pass out. So that's the only place where you kind of get stuck between, as some people say, a rock and a hard place.
Don't you mean a Brock in a hard place?
That's what I thought he was going to say.
That's what. Sure. Yeah, that's why I thought you did the whole what's this say here? A Brock in a hard place. Anyways,
Smart Moise doesn't do puns.
No, he doesn't. He's far too smart for them, obviously. Smart Mark Moyes. I like this. You are our manager, I think, with a nickname like that.
I like the game. I like Smart Mark Moyes
I do
on
too.
this show.
I do
I
too.
think we should get more of him.
Always have those papers at the ready when you start discussing, because that is your gimmick now.
I will say before we finish, I called this a long time ago, and
You
and
did.
The whole world
did.
called
course.
this Elias.
Of course.
I
I
didn't.
called I
did not.
called it before it happened. Before
I
last week, y'all looked at me and
You called it 2
me
weeks ago.
dumb.
You
Yeah,
called this multiple weeks ago, Elias. I will give you your flowers, because you legitimately were on, and I thought you sounded like a crazy Mark, okay? Because like you were just like, what if they have Roman like come out and like just devastate and cause it so that Bobby wins it? And I was like, they would never do that, Moyes. I mean, Elias, because that's such a stupid thing to do. They would never do that.
In fairness, whenever Elias and I make good points, the two non-WWE watchers talk to us like we're Brian Kendrick, you know?
Oh wow!
Whenever we make our
that's
great
a
points.
good. That was great. This is not Smart Mark Moyes, because he's over here dropping bombs over here. That was pretty good. I thought
Oh, man,
that was. I think you did call it. I'll give you your roses completely for that. Best moment of the in the women's or the men's Royal Rumble.
The moment.
The moment. What was the best moment?
Mickey James. I'm sorry, Mickey.
I liked
James.
I liked Ronda winning. I did. I think that's a little controversial, but I did like Ronda winning. What about you, Moyes?
Both of y'all are not even like wrong. Y'all are way wrong. Best moment in the Rumble I have written down right here.
Is
God.
there a
Dr.
way to
Bing.
kick him out?
Thank
Is
you.
there a way to kick him out like in the other
Doc-
one?
Definitely.
Dr.
I don't want to. I
Dr.
like it.
Banks.
Oh God.
Dr.
Back on
Banks
this again.
eliminating. Best moment was Sasha Banks eliminating Melina and doing the splits while twerking. I think that's what this move is called. Whatever it's called. I rewinded it and watched it.
Okay, now we
15
have to
times.
move on so that we can one
I
day
told
be
you.
monetized. Angel, what about
Oh,
you?
really
What was
quick, really quick.
your-
One thing I thought was really cool. Jelena Vega eliminating Sasha Banks. I think that's huge for her.
I will agree on that.
I forgot about it. That's how big it was. Angel, if you could please tell us what your favorite moment of the men's or women's Royal Rumble. Just a moment. Your favorite word. What is the moment that you choose?
Shane McMahon.
Really?
No. God
No.
no.
Okay. Well, I can't tell with you. You said it just as seriously as you do anything else you say on this show.
It's WWE. I don't mean anything to say about those guys, except for Matt Riddle and RK Bro. That thing's pretty cool.
Your credibility just went out the window. FYI.
Yeah, don't worry. You like WWE. Their whole credibility is always in shambles. I don't have. I don't really care about any of the moments.
What about Brock coming in, and what about Matthew Riddle hitting the RKO off of Otis?
The RKO. Yeah, that was nice.
Okay, now we're
I think
gonna
he's
move
done
on.
it. He's done it a couple times already.
What about this? What about the Sailor Moon cosplay?
Okay.
Low point.
They
What
always
was the
do stuff.
low point of the show? For me, it was Mickie James not being in the top 4. That was a low point for me. I thought that she deserved way more. I thought she should have been able to I thought they should have allowed her to do more. And I thought that given the amount of hype that they gave her leading into this matchup, it would have been crazy not to put her in the Final 4. So that was a low point for me personally. What about you, Elias? What was your low point of this year's Royal Rumble?
I would actually agree on that, on her not being in the top 4 and Melina getting eliminated that quickly. Those were my 2 lowest points of the match.
What about you, Moyes?
I wish Kofi's spot went to Montez just because I want to gauge the crowd.
Because are you interested to see if the spot was popular or if the character was popular?
I want to gauge if Montez is as over as
That's what I'm saying.
some of us think he is.
If he did the spot, would the crowd react the same to him as if it was Kofi doing the spot?
I want to hear a Montez Ford crowd chant rather than a "We want to smoke." I don't know how they do it, but That's what I want to see. I want
But
to
isn't
see
we want the
the whole
smoke? Isn't
crowd.
that their chant though? I feel like you might
That's the
be.
tag. That's the tag team.
I know, but I feel like you're
But
reaching a little bit, like you're moving. It's like the person that like moves the goalpost every time somebody reaches the
okay,
goal. I feel like they are
I
chanting.
would want to see. I would want to see him go a little bit longer just to see if the crowd would have continued with the "We Want the Smokes."
I agree with that.
There we go.
I agree with
I
that.
want to see
I
if
agree.
he's as over as I think he is.
I think
Because I think
I
this
think
guy.
they're over.
I think he's a
do.
main event. I think he's a main event. No, I think he's a main event.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know if he's that
No,
over. I'd like to see him hold
he-
a singles belt first before I put him in the main event.
Go watch him versus Randy.
Interesting fact. Both spots that were planned, for Naomi and for Kofi went wrong.
What
I
or-
thought Sonya
well-
Deville. No, Sonya Deville eliminated it.
Yeah, that looked right. I don't.
Well, they
That
didn't
was meant to
happen.
be.
The both spots didn't happen like they were supposed to. Like, well, apart from Sonya.
what was
and Naomi.
Angel's? What was Angel's low point for the Royal Rumble?
The
I had-
whole pay-per-view.
He's like, well, I hit play.
Yeah. Yeah. I felt bad. I was excited for this and just
What were you excited for?
we picked. Well, remember we did our top 5.
You're
For
supposed
those
to
of you
say
who don't
for the
know,
moment.
I'll say that later.
Okay.
For the moment, that too. The pointing. I was excited for the pointing. No, we picked our top 5, and we genuinely put a Royal Rumble, a very recent one, as number 1. I don't know how much of it is we just got our expectations too high based off of what we've seen the past couple of years. I think this is one of the worst Rumbles ever. In our final
I think
5,
no Pat Patterson hurts.
Yeah,
something,
I think
just something
this-
wasn't right.
this was the first year without Pat Patterson, so I think, and then hearing the reports that are coming out, the debacle going on stage hurt it a lot too.
That's
so-
hearsay still, though. That's
We-
ringside.
We did this to ourselves, though. I agree. We
Yeah.
overhyped it. I really do believe that. I do.
But we shouldn't feel like.
No,
how
I
can
agree. I agree.
We shouldn't. You know,
It-
I don't know.
And it goes back. We got spoiled by the big moments these past couple of years, so we did. Edge returning,
Moments.
Drew McIntyre winning, Bianca
Look,
winning.
I love you guys, but there's this guy on AEW named Danhausen that I really want to watch. But I really hope he's on tonight. So
I don't think he's going to be on until Rampage. He won't be on Dynamite. He's not a Dynamite.
He's gonna
I'll
be
be
on
on Dark.
AEW Dark.
He's on Dark.
He's not. Yeah, he is
He's on
definitely.
Dark.
He's not a Rampage guy. He's a Dynamite guy. He's a Rampage guy.
whoa! So
Oh,
I
okay.
got behind an AEW superstar and they put him on Dark and Rampage. Sounds like Jay Lethal. Sounds like Tony Nese. Sounds like Hook.
Maybe you should watch the show, and then maybe you won't complain about 4 of the 5 names that you just named.
My biggest surprise for the Royal Rumble was seeing Molly Holly. I thought she's great and I love her because she made 2 out of my 3 predictions come true for the Women's Royal Rumble.
Also, Molly hit a record or made history. She was the first producer and performer to be in the Royal Rumble. She produced the match and she also was part of the match.
And
I don't know if
Ivory,
that's-
oldest
no
woman.
I
way
feel like
that's
that's
true.
not true at all. I feel
There's
like
no way
Shane
that's true.
McMahon. Shane McMahon just did it. Wait, pause. Shane McMahon did it the same day.
I
And
feel
Ivory,
like-
Ivory was
women.
Ivory
in
was the
women.
oldest woman. Ivory was the oldest woman in the
Are
Rumble.
you just making up? Are
I
you
think
making
Elias-
up Guinness World Records right now? Are
It
you
was 60. Oh, ha, I see what you're doing there.
You're just making them up at the moment. All right. So, anybody else have any final says about the Royal Rumble pay-per-view that we watched?
A lot of moms in the Rumble this year.
Yes,
That's a
shout
very
out to the
cool.
mom.
That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Kinda cool.
Shout out to the moms.
Shout out
They
to the moms.
they killed it. I mean, regardless of how you feel about
I'm
them,
really
they
done
killed
with
it in the
Lita.
Rumble.
I'm really done with watching Lita perform, though. I want her to stop. Can we make that happen? Can we
You
talk about
haven't
that?
watched her in a one-on-one match in like 15 years.
And I'm
hasn't
okay
had
with
one.
that. I'm not searching for those. I'm not.
For-
I
you didn't
haven't,
think-
I haven't asked for that either in 15 years.
You I don't know where you're looking. I'm on your other side. But Trish and Charlotte was good. I think Lita and Becky could be good.
I think that is I think I'm not trying to be rude, but if you are excited about Becky Lynch and Lita, like and
I'm not excited. I'm saying it could be good.
That's fine, but I'm just gonna say this, and I don't care if you take it the wrong way. I apologize, but like I'm not trying to be rude. But if you are excited about the idea of Lita and Becky Lynch or Charlotte Flair or anybody with Lita, in my opinion, you're kind of what's wrong with wrestling. I'm sorry.
For what reason? Hold on. We have like 3 minutes left. I kind of want to hear this.
Because
I'll tell you
what
what.
are we catering to? What are if you're excited about Adam Page and Sting having a match for the AEW championship, you are what is wrong with professional wrestling.
I was about to say, for clarification, you mean it's because it's for a title?
Yes.
It has nothing to do with the.
Oh no, I love dream matches. I love dream matches.
I would love to see Lita versus Becky without the title, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I love dream matches. I'll watch a dream match all day. But if you're excited for these people to have matches, if you're excited for, honestly, and I this one's a little less extravagant, but like if you're excited for Darby Allin and Sting to fight against the Jurassic Express for the tag titles, in my opinion, like that's also a little bit what's wrong with wrestling, because Sting at his age should not be holding championships when there's so much.
I can't tell which one of y'all is. I can't tell which one of those Sting matches is a spoiler because I haven't watched the AEW yet. But if both of those matches are happening at the pay-per-view, I'm going to be very upset.
Yeah, it is totally. Well, obviously they're setting Sting up for a singles run because they're trying to get Darby away from Sting with the whole weird Matt Hardy family brand Andrade thing. Anyways, we're not talking about AEW tonight. That's going to be later for Elias and Angel to talk about. But I think that's going to kind of solve it and be it for this episode of the weekly Wrestling Heat Roundup, all about the Royal Rumble. Make sure to tell your friends, your family, if you are in charge of somebody at the place that you work, even though you can't legally make them listen to us, you should highly recommend it for their benefit. We appreciate you guys stopping by, coming through, and watching us. Obviously, we're here every single Thursday at about 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. Make sure you are subscribed to us here on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Twitch. Just type in Weekly Wrestling Heat, and wherever you find it, just start following it. We also have this really great TikTok that Moise has promised to keep his shirt on until we get 1,000 followers, and then the shirt is coming off. So if that's something you're interested in, you better start following now, because I will delete the video very quickly after. I think that's going to probably do it for us.
TikTok will delete it before we do.
Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and I think that's about it. Anybody else have anything else to say?
Good night and bye.
If not, goodbye.
Bye-bye.